There are places on Earth that seem like they don't belong to this world. Scenes so extraordinary they defy logic, play tricks on the senses, and make us question if we're still on the blue planet. In this video, we'll embark on a journey through 20 landscapes so surreal they look like they were hand-painted by a higher power. Places where the ground turns into a mirror, where fire rises from emptiness, where light and ice dance together as if alive. Scenes that awaken that rare moment of inner silence when you simply stop and feel. If you love traveling without leaving your home, get ready, because this journey will surprise you from start to finish, and I guaranteed it. Some of these places will make you rethink what you believe is possible in our world. Beneath the largest glacier in Europe lies one of the most surreal spectacles nature has to offer. The crystal ice caves in Iceland glow in shades of blue so intense they seem to emit their own light. Located in Vatnajökull National Park, these caves are never the same. Each winter, new formations appear as rivers of meltwater carve tunnels that later freeze, creating ephemeral structures that last only for a single season. The mesmerizing blue color comes from the extraordinary density of the ice. After hundreds of years under pressure, air bubbles are squeezed out, allowing light to penetrate deeper. The red wavelengths are absorbed, reflecting only the blue back to our eyes. The most famous cave is known as the Crystal Cave, or sometimes Anaconda, due to its long, winding shape. Open only from November to March, tours are always led by experienced guides. To get there, super jeeps depart from Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, crossing snowy landscapes all the way to the glacier's edge. Equipped with helmets and crampons, visitors then step into this breathtaking world of crystal clear ice. In the heart of the Cambodian jungle, giant trees embrace an ancient temple in a silent dance between nature and architecture. Ta Prohm is a surreal spectacle where civilization gracefully yields to the power of the tropical forest. Built by King Jayavarman VII in 1186 as a monastery dedicated to his mother, Ta Prohm housed 80,000 people, including 2,700 officials and 615 dancers, making it a true sacred city at the height of the Khmer Empire. What makes Ta Prohm unique are the gigantic silk cotton trees and strangler fig trees that have grown through the stone structures. When abandoned in the 15th century, seeds carried by birds sprouted on mossy rooftops. Over centuries, roots snaked through the cracks, creating an extraordinary fusion of the sacred and the wild. An intriguing curiosity is the mysterious figures that appear to depict a dinosaur carved into the walls, making us wonder, how did 12th century artisans know about creatures extinct for millions of years? This fascinating mystery remains unsolved. Ta Prohm gained worldwide fame as the setting of the 2001 film Lara Croft: Tomb Raider. The iconic scene where Angelina Jolie picks a jasmine flower was filmed on the famous Tomb Raider tree, turning the temple into a pilgrimage site for adventurers. Where once echoed war sirens and military training explosions, today flourishes one of the planet's most surreal and colorful scenes. Hitachi Seaside Park in Japan is an extraordinary transformation, symbolizing peace's victory over destruction, beauty over brutality. Located in Ibaraki Prefecture, this 470-acre park has a moving history. During World War II, it was a Japanese military airport called Mito Higashi.
After the war, it became a shooting and bombing range for the US Air Force. When fatal accidents involving civilians occurred, locals fought to reclaim the land. In 1973, they succeeded in turning this war-ravaged area into a symbol of peace. The most famous attraction is the Nemophila flowers, known as baby blue eyes. Between April and May, 5.3 million of these flowers create a translucent blue ocean on Miharashi Hill, visually blending with the sky and the Pacific Ocean in a hypnotizing optical illusion. In autumn, 40,000 kochia plants turn the same hills into a blazing red explosion, contrasting with 2.6 million pink and white cosmos flowers. The park offers blooms year-round, from daffodils and tulips in spring to sunflowers in summer, creating a constantly changing natural kaleidoscope. In the heart of the Karakum Desert, a 230-foot-wide crater has been burning for over 5 decades in a mesmerizing dance of thousands of orange flames. The Darvaza gas crater, nicknamed the Door to Hell, is the result of a Soviet accident that turned into one of the planet's most surreal landscapes. In 1971, Soviet geologists were drilling for natural gas when the ground collapsed, swallowing the drilling equipment and creating a crater 100 feet deep. To prevent the release of toxic gases, engineers decided to ignite the methane, expecting the fire to burn out in a few days. More than 50 years later, the flames still roar like jet engines. In 2013, Canadian explorer George Karunis became the first person to descend to the bottom of the crater. Wearing heat-resistant gear and special equipment, he collected soil samples at temperatures over 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Surprisingly, scientists discovered extremophile bacteria living in this hellish environment, suggesting microbial life could exist on planets with similarly extreme conditions. The president of Turkmenistan even performed car stunts around the crater in 2019 in a theatrical display to debunk rumors about his death. In the heart of Yellowstone National Park pulses a liquid rainbow that forever changed our understanding of life on Earth. The Grand Prismatic Spring, the third largest hot spring in the world, is a natural masterpiece 370 feet in diameter, where science and beauty meet in perfect harmony. With temperatures reaching 190 degrees Fahrenheit at its center, this thermal spring looks like a portal to another planet. Its mesmerizing colors are not mere aesthetic coincidence, but the result of a complex, microscopic society. Thermophilic bacteria live in different temperature rings, creating a perfect spectrum. Deep blue in the scorching center, where only the physics of light prevails, followed by greens, yellows, oranges, and reds as the temperature decreases. In 1966, scientist Thomas Brock discovered the bacterium Thermus aquaticus in these boiling waters, which revolutionized modern medicine. This microorganism contains the enzyme Taq polymerase, essential for the PCR technique, the same technology behind COVID-19 tests. Ironically, in 2014, a Dutch tourist lost his drone in these sacred waters of science, illustrating how this natural wonder remains both fragile and extraordinarily resilient, harboring life where it seemed impossible. In Madagascar, ancient plant sentinels dominate the landscape like ancestral giants planted upside down by the gods themselves. Malagasy baobabs are much more than trees. They are living monuments that defy the logic of nature and have inspired legends for millennia. Locally known as Reniala, Mother of the Forest, 6 of the 9 baobab species worldwide are endemic to this African island. The most famous, Adansonia grandideriae, creates the surreal setting of the Avenue of the Baobabs, where about 25 giants up to 100 feet tall line up like columns of a lost temple. Their smooth cylindrical trunks, crowned by branches that look like roots, fed the Arabic legend that the devil uprooted them from paradise and replanted them upside down. These colossi can live over 1,600 years and store up to 140,000 liters of water in their fibrous trunks. In arid regions, local communities hollow out their trunks to create natural reservoirs, a unique technique in the world. Even more astonishing are the Baobabs amoureus, 2 intertwined trees that, according to legend, represent an impossible love transformed into vegetal eternity. For the Malagasy, they are homes of ancestral spirits, sacred intermediaries between the living and the dead.
In southwestern Turkey rises one of the most surreal landscapes on Earth, Pamukkale, literally Cotton Castle, where nature sculpted terraces as white as snow that defy reality. These limestone formations, created by calcium-rich thermal springs over millennia, resemble frozen waterfalls in a crystalline eternity. For over 2,000 years, these warm waters, ranging from 95 to 210 degrees Fahrenheit, attracted entire civilizations. The ancient Greeks built Hierapolis, the sacred city, atop the terraces in the 2nd century BC, turning the site into an international healing center. Today, its Roman ruins still dominate the white formations. The most fascinating legend involves Cleopatra's Pool, where supposedly the Egyptian queen bathed in waters that bubbled like champagne. A 7th century earthquake toppled marble columns into the pool, where they remain submerged today, creating a unique archaeological spa. Ironically, modern popularity threatens this natural wonder. Millions of annual visitors have caused some terraces to dry out, forcing authorities to limit access. Hotels were demolished and roads removed to preserve this UNESCO heritage site, a race against time to save the paradise tourism helped endanger. In the small village of Kleven, in the Rivne region, there is something that looks like it came straight out of a fantasy film. The Tunnel of Love is an approximately 2.5-mile stretch of industrial railway completely enveloped by green arches formed by trees naturally growing along the tracks. But the story behind this surreal landscape is even more impressive than its magical appearance. During the Cold War, this railway was built to transport military equipment to a secret base hidden in the forest. To camouflage the site from curious eyes and enemy aircraft, trees were deliberately planted along the tracks. What began as an ultra-secret military operation ended up, decades later, becoming one of the most romantic places on the planet. The most fascinating thing is that the perfectly trimmed tunnel appearance is not the work of gardeners, but of factory trains that use this railway several times a day. Every time the branches grow a few centimeters too much, they are naturally cut by the passing trains, creating this incredible living artwork. Until 2011, this place was practically unknown worldwide. Everything changed when lost tourists accidentally found the tracks, photographed them, and shared on social media. Local legend says that if a couple walks through the tunnel together and makes a sincere wish, their desires will come true. In Alaska's wild heart, an ancient world of ice awaits those brave enough to explore it.
Matanuska Glacier stands out as the largest glacier accessible by road in the United States, with an impressive 27 miles length and 4 miles width. This ice giant moves about 1 foot per day, creating a constantly changing spectacle just 2 hours from Anchorage. But it's Knik Glacier that steals the show, with its turquoise pools that look like they came from a fairy tale. This 25-mile glacier was the setting of Star Trek VI and hides a fascinating secret. Until 1967, it created a natural dam that accumulated millions of liters of water during winter, releasing them in a devastating explosion every summer. An event pioneers turned into an annual lottery betting on the exact day of the rupture. Columbia Glacier, located in Prince William Sound, is one of the most dramatic in the world, moving about 80 feet per day and dumping roughly 0.7 cubic miles of ice into the ocean annually. Chugach National Park houses more than 22 tidewater glaciers and offers the largest concentration of bald eagles outside the contiguous 48 states. These frozen wonders are true time machines, preserving stories thousands of years old in their crystalline layers. Imagine a place so extreme that scientists study it to understand what life on Mars would be like. In northeastern Ethiopia, 400 feet below sea level, lies the Danakil Desert, officially the hottest inhabited place on Earth. With average annual temperatures of 95 degrees Fahrenheit and peaks exceeding 130 degrees Fahrenheit, this is literally hell on Earth. But the real magic happens in Dallol, a volcano that was born only in 1926 after a phreatic explosion created a multicolored acidic salt crater. The hot springs here bubble with boiling water loaded with salt, sulfur, and iron, forming neon green, yellow, and red pools that look like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. These mind-blowing colors aren't caused by biological life like in other places, but by the inorganic oxidation of minerals. The area is home to Lake Gayatol, which, with 43% salinity, is the saltiest body of water on the planet, formed after an earthquake in 2005. Here, the Afar people work under the scorching sun, extracting salt using traditional methods, hauling blocks of salt on camel caravans across the desert. Despite the toxic conditions, researchers have discovered extremophile microorganisms that survive in the most acidic environment ever recorded in nature, with a pH close to 0. It's the Earth showing how life always finds a way, even in the most impossible corners of the universe. Just 2.5 hours from Luoyang in Henan Province rises Mount Lao Jun, one of the most sacred and revered mountains in Chinese Taoism. This mountain is part of the Funu mountain range, standing majestically as the highest peak in the region. Known as the #1 immortal mountain in the world, this sacred peak, towering at 7,300 feet, looks like it was carved by the gods themselves. The mountain gets its name from the legendary philosopher Lao Tzu, the founder of Taoism, who is said to have taken refuge here as a hermit to meditate and seek spiritual enlightenment. What makes this mountain truly surreal are the steep trails that snake along its rocky slopes, offering breathtaking views at every turn. Stone and wooden stairways lead adventurers through dramatic rock formations that look like natural sculptures shaped over millions of years. At the summit, the Golden Peak Taoist Temple complex creates an absolutely heavenly scene. These golden temples, including the Lao Tzu Temple and Yu Huangding, appear to float among the clouds like celestial palaces. During winter, the snow transforms the entire landscape into a crystal kingdom, where the golden temples stand in stunning contrast against the pristine white backdrop. The phenomenon known as the Sea of Clouds, which often envelops the mountain, gives visitors the magical sensation of walking through the sky among the gods, making Mount Lao Jun a truly transcendental experience. Roughly 175 miles from the capital Ankara, there's a place that looks like it came straight out of a Salvador Dali dream. Cappadocia is a surreal landscape that defies any logical explanation, where millions of years of volcanic activity and erosion created rock formations that look like fairy tale castle towers. The famous fairy chimneys are the result of an extraordinary geological process that began around 14 million years ago. Volcanic eruptions covered the region with ash, which solidified into tuff, a porous, soft rock. Later, a harder basalt layer formed on top. Over thousands of years, erosion sculpted these towers, which can reach up to 130 feet tall, with basalt caps protecting each formation like giant stone mushrooms. Among the most impressive sights is the majestic Uchisar Castle, literally carved out of a single giant rock formation, standing like a natural fortress that offers panoramic views of the entire region. The Valley of Love surprises visitors with its bizarrely shaped rock formations, creating an almost alien landscape. In the town of Goreme, the famous open-air museum reveals a unique historical treasure: Byzantine churches carved directly into the rock, preserving ancient frescoes that tell sacred stories on their walls. The Sunset Valley offers one of the most magical visual spectacles on Earth, as the sun paints the rocks in shades of gold, red, and pink, transforming the entire landscape into a living painting. Every morning, hundreds of hot air balloons fill the sky in a daily aerial festival that has become Cappadocia's global symbol. The Goreme National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1985, has become the world epicenter for balloon flights, with an incredible record of over 770,000 people experiencing this magical aerial adventure in 2024 alone. About 1,250 miles off the African coast in the Indian Ocean, Mauritius is home to one of the most impressive and mysterious natural phenomena on the planet. On the Lemorne Peninsula, an extraordinary optical illusion creates the appearance of a gigantic waterfall cascading beneath the crystal clear waters of the ocean. This underwater waterfall isn't real, but rather a masterpiece of nature that tricks even the most experienced eyes. The phenomenon occurs because Mauritius sits on an underwater plateau just 500 feet deep, which abruptly ends in an oceanic abyss over 13,000 feet deep. Ocean currents continuously push sand and silt over the plateau's edge, creating a visual spectacle that perfectly mimics a real waterfall when viewed from above. This geological formation is the result of volcanic activity that created Mauritius around 8 million years ago, making it part of the Mascarene Islands. The illusion can only truly be appreciated from the air, via helicopter or seaplane flights that cost between $150 and $300 per person for a 15-minute flight. The majestic Lemorne Brabant Mountain, a UNESCO World Heritage Site standing at 1,825 feet, serves as a spectacular backdrop for this phenomenon, attracting thousands of visitors each year, all seeking the unique experience of witnessing a waterfall that flows eternally into the deep blue infinity of the ocean. Just 7.5 miles from Sardinia, Italy, on the southern tip of Corsica, rises one of Europe's most surreal landscapes. Bonifacio is a medieval town that seems to defy the laws of physics, perched 230 feet high on white limestone cliffs that rise vertically over the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean. This cliffside city was sculpted by erosion over thousands of years, creating limestone formations so dramatic that the medieval houses appear to be literally hanging off the edge of the precipice. Seen from the sea, Bonifacio looks like a glowing white ghost town floating above the crystal-clear waters below, creating a visual illusion that hypnotizes anyone who lays eyes on it. The most surreal feature of the town is the famous King of Aragon's stairway, with its 187 vertigo-inducing steps carved directly into the face of the cliff. Legend says it was built in a single night by the troops of King Alfonso V of Aragon during the siege of 1420. But the truth is even more fascinating. It's actually a natural geological fissure that was enhanced over centuries by locals searching for fresh water. The sea caves sculpted by erosion, like the Grotte Saint-Antoine and the famous cave with an opening shaped like Corsica, can only be explored by boat, revealing turquoise reflections that mesmerize visitors. Bonifacio is not just a city, it's a living geological phenomenon that continues to be shaped by the elements, maintaining its impossible position between sky and sea for over 1,000 years. In the heart of Sri Lanka, a 600-foot-tall granite rock rises from the jungle like an impossible monolith. Sigiriya, known as Lion Rock, is one of the most spectacular and mind-bending landscapes on the planet, where human ingenuity defied nature in an absolutely epic way. This rock fortress holds a history worthy of Game of Thrones. In the 5th century, King Paraside Kashyapa murdered his father and built a palace atop this nearly inaccessible rock, creating a city suspended in the air. To reach the top, he carved stairways that wind through 1,200 steps, passing by water gardens considered the oldest in the world, which still function perfectly. The most surreal part of the climb is passing through the famous lion's paws, 2 giant paws carved into the rock that once formed the original entrance to the palace. Above them stood a colossal lion's head, which collapsed centuries ago, but the paws remain as eternal sentinels of this lost kingdom. Along the way, visitors encounter perfectly preserved 1,500-year-old frescoes depicting celestial women, and the mirror wall, so polished that the king could see his own reflection in it. This wall also holds graffiti from visitors over 1,000 years ago, proving that Sigiriya was already a tourist destination since medieval times. At the top, the palace ruins offer 360-degree views of the endless jungle, creating the sensation of standing in a castle suspended between earth and sky. About 155 miles from São Luís, in the heart of Maranhão, lies a landscape that looks like it was stolen from another planet. The Lençóis Maranhenses are the largest dune field in South America, an expanse of 380,000 acres of white sand stretching as far as the eye can see, dotted with thousands of crystal-clear lagoons that shift between turquoise blue and emerald green. This surreal phenomenon was born from a geological quirk unique in the world. For millennia, Atlantic trade winds carried fine quartz sand inland, forming dunes that can reach 130 feet high and move constantly, up to 4 inches per day during strong winds. What makes this desert truly magical is the water cycle that occurs from January to June, when heavy rains fill the depressions between the dunes, creating more than 7,000 temporary lagoons. The scientific explanation is fascinating. A layer of sedimentary rock prevents the water from seeping completely into the ground, allowing these natural pools to remain full for months. The visual contrast is breathtaking, an immaculate sea of sand interrupted by water mirrors reflecting the endless sky of the northeast. It's truly spectacular. Recognized as a UNESCO Natural World Heritage Site in 2024, this Brazilian oasis defies all known laws of nature, creating the world's only wet desert. The best time to witness this spectacle is between June and September, when the lagoons are at their peak and the scorching sun turns every swim into an experience of pure tropical bliss. Continuing our journey through the most surreal landscapes on the planet, we arrive at Mount Huashan, a mountain that literally flirts with death. Known as the most dangerous mountain under heaven, this 7,070-foot granite giant hides one of the scariest trails in the world. What makes this place truly surreal isn't just the 5 sacred peaks, formed 121 million years ago, but the infamous plank walk, a narrow wooden path only about 1 foot wide, bolted to the side of a sheer cliff over 6,600 feet high. Imagine walking on a plank where a single misstep means a fatal fall into the abyss. This death-defying trail was built over 700 years ago by a Taoist monk named He Zhen, who hammered stone nails into the rock to support wooden planks in his quest for spiritual immortality. Today, it's estimated that about 100 people die annually attempting to cross this path, although the Chinese government doesn't release official statistics in order to avoid scaring away tourists. The journey just to reach the trail is an extreme adventure in itself. Visitors face 90-degree vertical staircases carved directly into the rock, passages so narrow that only one person can pass at a time, and the infamous Black Dragon Ridge, a ridge with a 45-degree incline and only 3 feet wide. Mount Huashan is one of the 5 sacred mountains of Chinese Taoism, where over 100 emperors throughout history came to pay tribute to the gods. Its ancient temples, which have withstood the elements in seemingly impossible locations, create a mystical atmosphere that blends natural beauty with extreme danger, turning this mountain into one of the most surreal experiences our planet has to offer. From China's dizzying heights, we now fly to the endless sands of Namibia, where we find Sausisfly, one of the most cinematic and otherworldly landscapes on Earth. Located in the heart of the Namib Desert, the oldest desert in the world at 55 million years old, this place looks like it came straight out of a science fiction movie. Sausisfly, whose name means dead-end marsh in local languages, is a valley surrounded by gigantic dunes, the tallest being the famous Big Daddy, standing at 1,070 feet. But what makes this place truly surreal is the rust-red color of the dunes, caused by iron oxide in the sand over millions of years, creating a visual spectacle that shifts tones depending on the sun's position. The most fascinating spot is Deadfly, a white clay pan that holds a graveyard of trees over 900 years old. These camelthorn trees died when the Tsakab River changed its course, but didn't decompose due to the hyper-arid climate. They remain standing as black skeletons against the white ground, creating a visual contrast that seems to defy the laws of nature. This is one of the only places on Earth where you can witness the phenomenon of natural petrification in real time, where the total absence of moisture perfectly preserves organic structures for centuries. Sausisfly is an open-air natural museum of almost alien beauty. Leaving behind the red dunes of Namibia, our journey through the most surreal landscapes on Earth now takes us to the heart of Bolivia, where we find the Salar de Uyuni, a natural wonder that defies all logic and looks like something straight out of a dream. Covering over 4,050 square miles, this is the largest salt flat on the planet, located at an impressive 12,000 feet above sea level in the Bolivian Altiplano. What makes this place truly magical isn't just its endless white expanse, but a supernatural phenomenon that happens between December and March. During the rainy season, a thin layer of water covers the perfectly flat surface of the salt flat, transforming it into the largest natural mirror in the world. At this moment, the sky and the earth literally merge into a single image, creating an optical illusion where it's impossible to tell where the ground ends and the sky begins. It's like walking inside a cloud or floating in the cosmos itself. But this salt desert hides even more fascinating secrets. It's estimated to contain 10 billion tons of salt, and it holds about 70% of the world's lithium reserves, the metal that powers our smartphones and electric cars. On top of that, the Salar is so geologically perfect and flat that it's used as a calibration point for space satellites. Here's a mind-blowing fact. Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, visited the Salar de Uyuni after spotting it from space during the Apollo 11 mission. That's how visible it is from orbit. This is one of the very few natural places on Earth that can be clearly seen by astronauts, proving that this is, quite literally, a piece of our planet that feels out of this world.
To wrap up our journey, we arrive at a destination where human engineering meets the raw brutality of nature. In the heart of the Kure Mountains, in the Pinar-Bashi district of Kastamonu province, we find the breathtaking Horma Canyon, a geological marvel that blurs the line between the possible and the impossible. Carved over centuries by the relentless Zari River, this 2.5-mile-long canyon remained untouched and inaccessible for millennia, hiding its secrets deep within its rocky walls. What makes this place truly surreal isn't just its wild natural beauty, but the bold solution that finally allowed humans to explore its depths. A 2-mile-long wooden walkway was literally nailed into the canyon walls, creating a suspended path that snakes through the limestone formations carved by water. This structure, built by drilling into the mountain and anchoring steel beams with gigantic bolts, allows visitors to literally walk inside the belly of the earth. The trail culminates at the stunning Ilija waterfall, which drops from 50 feet high, forming a crystal-clear natural pool. During the fall, the canyon transforms into a symphony of golden, red, and orange colors, creating a dramatic contrast with the gray rocks and turquoise waters. Even more impressive, Horma Canyon is part of the Kure Mountains National Park, one of Turkey's biodiversity hotspots, home to 930 plant species and a rich variety of endemic wildlife. This is a place where human adventure meets the raw force of nature, proving that sometimes you really do have to nail yourself to the mountain to uncover the planet's most well-kept secrets. And so, we come to the end of this extraordinary journey through 20 of the most surreal landscapes on Earth. From the crystal caves of Iceland to the lost temples of Cambodia, from the colorful fields of Japan to the endless dunes of Namibia, from the world's largest natural mirror in Bolivia to the seemingly impossible trails of China and Turkey. Each of these places proves that our planet still holds secrets capable of defying our imagination and making us question the very limits of what we believe is possible. If you were as amazed by these natural wonders as we were, smash that like button to show your support for this journey. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next incredible destinations around the world. Share this video with that one friend who you know is going to be blown away by these landscapes, because experiences like these are meant to be shared.
And down in the comments, tell us, which of these 20 surreal landscapes impressed you the most, and which one would you visit first? Your feedback is what keeps us motivated to continue exploring the most extraordinary corners of this planet.